It doesn't matter if it is Ivy League presidents, mayors of big cities. It seems that the anti-Semitic rhetoric carries on. Hello, I'm Adrienne Batra. With me is Warren Kinsella, who has been writing extensively about the ongoing increasing incidents of anti-Semitism happening all over the world. And the latest, Warren, of course, comes from the Calgary mayor, Jyoti Gondek, who just tweeted that she is no longer going to attend the Menorah ceremony, the Menorah lighting ceremony at Calgary City Hall, because it's quote unquote become political. So this mayor has decided to lecture the Jewish community about supporting Israel, and then tells them in the same breath why she won't be attending their ceremony. What is going on here?
Well, it's a disgrace. And, I say that as a proud Calgarian. She's not somebody I would have voted for. And, in her explanation of why she is not attending the menorah lighting ceremony, she accused Israel of murder of Palestinians, quote unquote. That's what she said. I think it's important for, I'm an Irish Catholic, but I'm getting a menorah to put in the window of my house. All the menorah lighting symbolizes, it is enlightenment and love for the world. That's all it is. It's a lot like the Christmas tree that's behind you. That's what that symbolizes as well. And how this mayor can refuse to attend something as peaceful and as wonderful as that, like, shame on her. I know those words get said a lot, but shame on her. She's brought shame on herself.
Yeah, look, I'm a Sikh. I got the Christmas tree in the back, and I'm going to have a menorah in the window as well, because that's just what it's about. Is, we all embrace each other, respect each other, but this is a particularly heightened time for our Jewish community. And I brought up the three Ivy League presidents. Parents would do anything to get their child into Harvard, and how respectful that is, and the desperation to get into a place like Harvard or Princeton or UPenn. But you recently wrote about even these university presidents who were questioned very vociferously on the Hill in the US. It was a hearing brought forward by the Republicans, but these presidents couldn't even acknowledge, or wouldn't acknowledge, that the acts of anti-Semitism on their campuses, and that they've done very little to address it.
And there's Canadian connection. Canadians attend Harvard, UPenn, MIT, and Canadian families spend a lot of money to send their kids there. And if you're a Jewish family, you expect that your child is going to be safe. So that is the very fair question all three of these university presidents got, which is, some of these students are being targeted with calls for genocide. Genocide against Jews. Is that not against your codes of conduct? They all have one. And every single one of these university presidents said, well, it depends on the context. Well, no, it doesn't. It doesn't depend on the context. It's a really easy question to answer. Yes, it is against our code of conduct. And like in some cases, it's an actual crime. So, it's just disgraceful that has happened, but there's been disgraceful things happening across Canada again this week. And we should probably talk about those.
Well, let's talk about the city of Moncton. Similar to that of what happened in Calgary, city of Moncton decided that they were not going to have their menorah lighting ceremony or the nativity scene that they normally put out in the square by their city hall. But luckily and fortunately, with enough outrage and enough disgust from the citizens, they reversed that decision just a few days ago. So that's a positive step. But I think the problem, Warren, is the fact that we even had to have that discussion in the first place. Hopefully in Calgary, I don't, at this point, the Jewish community shouldn't even want the mayor there. Like, why would they want her there, sort of tainting the entire ceremony? They should disinvite her at this point. But in Moncton, at least they reversed it. But the fact that we even had to, it says far too much about this rise of anti-Semitism that's going on. You and I've talked about it before. It's always been there. The mask has not just slipped, but it's just fallen off altogether.
Well, look at some of the other incidents that have taken place. So Erwin Kotler, who's a human rights expert, is one of the most, you and I both have met him and spoken with him.
Mhm.
He is a gentle, decent human being, and he's under 24-hour police protection now and unable to go out in public because of death threats. We've got CTV, a national network, describing the peace rally, the pro-Israel Release Our Hostages rally in Ottawa that I attended this week, as a pro-war rally. Like Adrienne, I can tell you, I was there. It was not a pro-war rally. It was calls for peace for both Israelis and Palestinians. And then you've got the bus company, one of the bus companies that's supposed to be transporting people up to that rally in Ottawa, not even showing up and leaving Jews stranded in Toronto and scrambling to find a way to get to the rally on time. There's crap, there's horrible things happening right across Canada. It wasn't just in front of that congressional committee in the United States, it's happening everywhere. And, again, as our newspaper has repeatedly called, where are the authorities? Where are the police? Where are the Crown prosecutors? And where are the politicians? Because a tweet, thoughts and prayers, it ain't enough. This problem is continuing and it's getting worse.
Not only is it getting worse, but the incidences are escalating in some instances, like you mentioned with respect to Mr. Kotler, who crosses party lines with his work on human rights and civil liberties, his work in the law, and not even as a former parliamentarian. This is the state of affairs that we're in today. And some may say, oh, well, that's just one person. No, it's not just one person. Well, one is too many to start with, but anybody that tells me and tells us that these ongoing rallies, what they call the pro-Palestinian rallies, anybody that tells you that they are there for peace, it's not sitting well anymore, Warren.
No, it's not. And, too many of them are devolving into hate rallies. They are devolving into that. Like, look what happened in Vancouver this week, and I think we've got some footage of it. It is extraordinary on the Vancouver mass transit system, where these thugs target two older Jewish women. Fortunately, somebody was capturing it on their cell phone, saying the most disgusting things to these women. And they weren't there advancing Palestinian rights. They weren't there, talking about a ceasefire peace. They were making overt and aggressive and intimidating anti-Semitic attacks on two defenseless women. Like it's from one end of the country, from Moncton to Vancouver, we've got this problem. And yes, there are acts of hate happening against the Muslim community as well, but by no means, and check with the police, by no means happening as often it is to Jews in this country. And we really need to step up and start dealing with it, because what's happening is the bad guys, whether they're those thugs in the subway system in Vancouver or somebody at a Menorah lading, they're getting more and more bold. If they see that the authorities are not taking action against them, they're saying, well, what the hell? I'll just keep doing it because I'm getting away with it. And that is a big problem. Like right now, you ask any Jew in this country, the problem that we're seeing, in Canada, not in the United States or anywhere else, is worse than they've ever seen in their lifetimes.
And the message to authorities is, Canada, we have a problem. Well, let us know what you think in the comments below, and go to theTorontoSun.com. Hit that subscribe button. You can read commentary from Warren on issues like this and others you will not find anywhere else.